So I think we're live. Just going to see if the connection works. Yes, looks like it's working.
Yay!
Right, just gonna turn off the sound so I don't hear myself. Hello and welcome to Project Vayner episode 51. It's another live episode that we have today, and the guest we have today is, I hope I'm saying your name right now, Jalisa.
Yes.
Yes, welcome to the vlog.
Thank you for having me. Much appreciated.
Nice. So, yeah, just start to tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do and your background.
Yeah, so I am a female video editor. I've been in the industry for about 9 years now. I'm born and raised East Coast girl from Virginia, and moved to San Francisco for college. Started out screenwriting and then made a transition to video editing. Fits more with my OCD personality. Um, and then now I'm currently in LA, and just currently building a business as well as applying for jobs and meeting amazing people and having the time of my life. So yeah.
Good. Um, I'm just going to make sure that people can see you because I don't think they can do right now. I can only see my own screen.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah. Uh, do you have like a external microphone there?
No.
No. Okay. Because
Yeah.
it might be that the program doesn't recognize or hear the voice, so it thinks that it's only one person.
Okay. Should I should I plug one in?
Yeah, if you have one.
Yeah. Okay. 1 second. Because I think I need to put my earplugs in. 1 second.
Welcome, Elmer. I see you are watching the live. Okay, so for guys that are jumping in right now, we have had some issues during the day, some technical problems, trying to solve those. Now it's noise again.
Okay, so can you hear me now?
No, it's too noisy.
What about now? Or what about now, I guess?
Oh, it doesn't work. Sorry.
I don't know.
Okay, so if anyone watching knows how to fix this, we're sitting in Google Hangouts trying to share the screen. It has worked every other time that I've done it with Google Hangouts, but doesn't seem to work right now. So
Google, if you can hear us.
yeah, Google, we're calling for help.
SOS. So,
Exactly. So
oh, it just says you are presenting me.
yeah, I just tried to hit the button.
Okay.
I don't know what happened.
So people can see me now? Or
I hope so. It's a couple of seconds delay to the live, so
yeah.
no, it doesn't seem to work.
Should I be talking in order for people to see me, or can I just move around, or
Yeah, talking should be enough for the program to like recognize that there is a
oh,
person there.
blah 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 blah. Yes, what a beautiful day. I wanna go to sleep. so early. David's got me up early in the morning.
Yeah.
I ran out of bed for a lot of people. How about now? Does it work?
Okay, so I can I can see you now in Google Hangouts, but not in the live. Strange.
I don't know what to tell you.
All right, we continue to try and see if we can find a solution.
Okay, perfect. I like that. I like that mentality. I say
Yeah,
close everything and restart again.
yeah, that's the other solution.
Yeah, yeah. When in doubt. um,
Okay, so I turned off my camera and that didn't work,
mhm.
apparently. Then people can only see like my profile picture. Is there like a button on your side that you need to click to show the screen?
Oh no,
Uh,
everything's correct. It says that we're live, and um, I can hear my audio, and you as well. And then you said that the microphone's too loud, so yeah. Um,
yeah, it was kind of a lot of other noise when you plugged it in, so
yeah.
I couldn't really hear you.
Okay.
So,
Maybe if I just do the microphone. Interesting. Or I mean, my headphones. Let's see if that works.
yeah,
Maybe.
yeah, try that.
Yeah.
It's worth
How
a
is that?
try. Let's see.
La 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 la.
Hopefully.
I cannot sing. I cannot sing. I am not a professional singer, but I can edit videos for you.
That's gonna be the intro.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. No, doesn't seem to work that either.
Okay.
Oh,
Okay.
interesting.
Mm, 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 mm. So just to make sure, because I'm sending a couple text messages.
Yeah,
I'm calling all filmmakers. um, they
yeah,
can't
that's
see
good.
they can't see me and they can't hear me, correct? Or they can hear me but they can't see me.
Yeah, I can ask because people apparently can hear me, I think, but
Yeah, why don't you ask? Just ask
can
them, hey, can you see both of us and can you hear both of us?
exactly. So for you that are watching, can you see both of us and can you hear both of us? We can hear you, says Elmer. Oh, but you can't see
Jalisa.
Jalisa, right? Jalisa. I'm trying to get the name right. Jalisa.
Yeah, you're doing it right. Yeah.
Okay, good. That's at least one thing I've done right today. Always something.
What did they say? They can see me?
Yeah, they can hear both, but they can only see me.
Oh, interesting.
Hmm.
Maybe if I do this.
Mm-hmm.
Does that work?
No.
Nope. Okay. I just clicked on different videos.
Uh,
I just made my screen larger, that's all.
this is so strange.
This is and then well, they can't see me, so it's okay. I'm just gonna look at this really quick. I'm just gonna look at the video itself. uh, hmm. Well, that's interesting. Now I can't hear anyone. Can you say something? I can't hear you.
Hello?
Oh, now I can hear you. Okay.
I accidentally turned off my microphone.
Oh, okay. That's okay. So should I just log out and log back in and call you?
Yeah, that might work. We'll try that.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Goodbye.
Goodbye. See you soon, hopefully. Okay. Technical issues. That's good, because then that means that you learn something new if you're able to solve it. If you just give up, of course, you don't learn anything, but we're not going to give up. Not yet, at least.
Does it work?
So now you are back, but can people see you?
Yes. Can
Yeah,
everyone see me? Yes?
it seems to work. I saw you
Yes!
right now.
Yes! Yes! That's
I
perfect.
just need confirmation from the chat.
Okay.
Can you
Okay.
see Jalisa?
Jalisa. Yes.
Now it works.
Yes. Perfect.
Okay.
Yes. Perfect. Okay.
Uh,
That's great. Forgive us, guys. But even filmmakers have troubles.
yeah.
Okay?
Good.
So nothing's ever perfect. What you see on screen is just hard work.
Yeah.
A lot of trial and error.
This is what happens when you don't have an editor.
Yeah. Right? Yeah. Yeah, it's true. It's true.
Promoting ourselves here.
Yeah, exactly. Yes.
Okay, so where were we? First question. You said that you had moved to Los Angeles, right?
Yes. So I've been here. It will be a year. No, it will be 2 years now, I think. Yeah. 2 years. Yeah, in July. Yes.
Nice.
Yeah.
And did you start your own business when you moved there?
No, so I actually started. So I didn't start the business. My business partner already had the company.
Uh,
Yeah, but she um approached me to be her co-founder.
mm,
Yeah, so it's a film production company called Love One Productions,
right.
and we provide creative services, starting from pre-production all the way to distribution. Um, and we originally met in San Francisco. So yeah,
Oh, okay.
yeah.
So what's her role in the company?
So she's a director.
Mhm,
We pretty much, what she oversees is pretty much, um, reaching out to clients and networking with clients and
mhm,
communicating. Um, she and I both have different personalities. She's the extrovert, I'm the introvert.
right.
So, I mean, I love people, but in doses.
Yeah.
But yeah, and she helps to make sure people can see the whole plan in
Mm,
regards to because for me, I love to tell a story. My head's always in the
yeah.
clouds, but she always likes to bring people back down to earth. So yeah,
Mm,
so she's the realist and I'm the imagination.
right.
So yes.
That's a good
uh,
mix.
yeah, it is. It is. It's a very amazing relationship. So yeah.
Is she also the one that is like talking about how to package the video services and the pricing and
So we both do that together.
mm,
So because we both own the business, so we both
right?
make those decisions together when we do meet with clients. We both discuss, what your project is, what you're looking for, and you can also check out on our website, all of our services and like what the pricing is and what you're looking for. And we we geared the packages towards people that are indie filmmakers that are transitioning to mainstream so that they can pick and choose the services, because some people already have a lock script and they just want a trailer, or sometimes they just already did the picture but they just need to pass the first line of defense when it comes to distribution. So yeah, so we help them with a lot of things, and you can pick and choose whatever you want, and then from there we the possibilities are endless. So yeah.
All right. So so a company can contact you if they, even if they have like a finished video that they want to distribute in some way, and get help from you with that.
Yes, that's correct. So where we would help with the distribution is we would connect them with some of our resources and contacts, but we would also take a look at your video. We would make sure that what you have will actually make it through the first process, because so many times people, companies, and filmmakers will send out their videos and then they constantly are being sent back because there's pops in the sound, because there's empty gaps of screen time. It's just the list goes on and on. And so we help to spot that ahead of time so that when you send it over, they're like, wow, this is perfect. You're the best client yet.
Yeah.
And then you're on to the second phase. So yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
So when you are editing videos, is
Yeah.
there like something that you are more interested in? Like, for example, is it the storytelling or the color grading or the transitions or
Right.
yeah, anything in particular?
Yeah, so I definitely like to dub myself as a picture editor. So I definitely am a storyteller. That is my baby and my love. Everybody likes, sound and color and music, but
Yeah.
when you look at the credits on a film, there's always different departments. And it's not because people are being lazy, but because, there's a saying that goes, to be a jack of all trades is to be a master of none. So you need to focus on maybe one or two things in your life and
Yeah.
not try to focus on trying to do everything. So I'm definitely a picture editor
Right.
with a skill set of a little bit of After Effects and sound.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So why do you think it's so important with storytelling when editing a video, in your opinion?
Yeah. Yeah. So just to make sure, this is just my personal opinion. Yeah. But for for me, storytelling from an editor's point of view, um, there is a lot of misunderstanding what an editor does. Oh, you disappeared. Oh, there you are. Okay. Um, um, people don't understand, well, what does an editor do? They must just string all of the pictures together that they shot because the story is already being told. But that's not necessarily true. When you're on set, there can be a lot of conflicting things that occur. There can also be a situation where, you have to cut certain scenes down because of time. I mean, more than anything, time is everything. If otherwise we'd all be in the movie theaters for 4-hour movies. Every movie would be an Avengers movie. So it's but for me, why it's so important is because we're the last line of defense. I like to think of myself as the creative therapist. I take all the departments, even people I haven't met, the makeup artist, the costume designer, the production designer, the director, of course, the executive producer. And I take all of these people's thoughts and hard work and I make sure that all of it's displayed correctly in the order that needs to be. And also making sure that when you look at it, that you have such an appreciation for it. And I think it's so important, because if it's just one department editing a picture, that only that one department would get their piece in, and we wouldn't get to see all of the fabulous things. But yeah, I like to think of myself as a creative therapists, especially between the directors and the producers.
Mhm.
So yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of things to have in mind for sure, and I think also that um, it's easy to like misunderstand along the way and tell a story from another angle because there's always like different ways of telling the same thing. Like you can
Yes.
be out shooting for a whole day and you can edit it in so many different ways depending on what feeling you want to bring.
Yes. Yeah. No,
So
I definitely agree with that. I believe that um I think that's something that's very hard for artists, especially, when we're all fighting for our dreams to make it to the top.
mm,
Um is that control is such a big thing, and it can be understandable because so many times people try to control artists, so we try to break
mm,
free. But I think you have to let go at some point, because when you make a movie or a commercial, the story changes three times: once when the writer creates it, the
yeah,
second time when it's being shot, and then the third time when I get it. Because I'm not going to cut it based on the fact that you guys sat in the rain for 6 hours trying to get this shot.
mm,
Even though I love everybody, but I'm gonna choose the shot because it gravitates to the most for the character development of the story as
mm,
well as for the scenery. So yeah, you have to have
yeah.
balance. Yeah, I would like to say I'm really good at that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a really interesting point actually, because I feel that sometimes when I'm filming, like I feel that I should use some of the clips just because it took longer to record those, or I went to a specific place to get a specific clip. So
Right.
then I need to use it, but actually not really adding anything to the story. So and the people that are watching it at the end, they don't know what happened behind the scenes when you were filming it, so they don't really care about nothing else than following along with the story and
Right.
understanding what you're trying to tell.
Yes. Yeah. I
So
definitely think that editors provide that. They provide that breath of fresh air. Because
mm,
when you're too close to the project, sometimes you're like, I need this
yeah,
in there. Yeah.
and also sometimes clips that you want to use doesn't look as good when you start editing.
It's true. It's true.
That happens sometimes as well.
Yes. Yeah. Yes. Agreed.
All right. So do you have like a um, do you have like a specific goal for something that you want to reach in like filmmaking and editing?
So this year, at the beginning of this year, during pilot season, my business partner and I shot a short film that I wrote called "The Color of Midnight."
Mm,
So currently we are in our third editing phase of that. So we're hoping that it will be finished and locked, picture locked by the end of summer, and color corrected and music
mm,
before fall, so we can submit it to film festivals
cool.
and as well as pitch it to investors so that we can do feature length projects.
Yeah.
Um, and then for me personally, I would definitely I'm searching to work on a TV show. I would love to just work with someone in the industry and just work on an episodic. I'm just dying to get my hands. I mean, we're in the golden age of television,
Mm.
so I just want to be a part of that so much. So yeah. Yeah.
Would you rather be on TV than having like a big YouTube channel, for example?
Yes, that is true. Um, I think every there there are levels of creators. There
Mm,
are different sectors of creators, and you need to know where you belong. And YouTube has definitely broke many walls and barriers and grounds. Um, like Chloe and Haley, the singers, for the hit show Grownish. They definitely, you know, made their mark when they were doing all the cover songs to Beyonce and they got signed to her label. But for me, I know that my ultimate end goal is to be a feature film editor. But also currently I'm seeking episodic. So yeah, so right now I'm not seeking any YouTube. But if YouTube calls, I will never decline. I just want to let you know that, YouTube. I won't decline.
Always good to have the doors open. So
yes. Yes.
But when you're editing and trying to develop in your area, is there any specific challenge that you have right now that is like something that you want to develop in or that you think is extra hard?
I definitely think, I mean, so in regards to control, I feel like your best bet in growth is having a mentor. And I definitely have quite a few of them. I have a spiritual video mentor, you know, because you got to have balance. You got to have Jesus in your work. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, you know, you have to have balance. You can't just be going out there and being crazy because somebody already did it before you. They already went out there and they went crazy. So you should get tons of advice from them. And then one of the best pieces of advice that I ever got from a teacher was that tell people who you are. Tell your friends and tell your family. Tell them who you are because believe it or not, your friends and your family are your first allies and they actually care about your success. They want to see you happy. So tell them. And then in a elevator pitch, explain to them what you do. So when people ask, "Oh, what is a video editor?" I say, "Well, I take the footage after it's been shot and I put it in order and make sure that I tell the story in the best way possible." So in a short mark, you understand who I am, what I do, and how I do it. You know, because people who aren't in the industry, they're not going to understand that. So you have to do it short as possible, and you just never know. You never know who you will meet. You know, I mean, I've heard this story 1,000 times, but a son of a grandma's cousin's son, something like that, he got the chance to tour Pixar because he told his grandma that he was an animator
Yeah.
um and then she always played poker with a whole bunch of other grandmas. Like what are the odds of that, you know? And then they all got to talking and stuff. So you just never know. Always you have to be your first advocate and pitch who you are. And I think that's how I learn constantly. And don't ever stop asking questions, you know? So, yeah. But I guess the second part of that answer is that for me, I think the hard part is I'm always looking for storage space. So if you have any, David,
Yeah. Tell me
if you
about
have
it.
any, if you have any raids back there,
They're not for sale. I need them.
I need some too.
Yeah.
I'm always looking for storage. And especially with technology, I'm looking for fast storage that I can upload, download. Yeah. So if you know anybody,
Yeah. I'll let you know.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, but I definitely agree with you to talk about your goals and who you are and what you want to reach. I actually have a good example of that. I just went to visit a friend in Denver a couple of weeks ago, maybe a month ago now. And actually, the reason how we connected was that I have written in my Instagram bio, like my goal is to record daily V for Gary Vaynerchuk. And then he saw that line and he wrote a DM to me on Instagram, like, "Oh, I saw that you wanted to work in New York. Let's collaborate on something." And then we started talking, and then after a while, I booked a flight to Denver. So
yes,
then I went to Denver, and I was visiting him for the weekend, and we created some content, get to know each other. So yeah, it all started with me just writing down basically one sentence in an Instagram.
Yes. Yeah.
So, yeah, that's like an example of what can happen if you just talk about your goals and what you want to reach. And
Yeah.
especially now with social media and the possibility to reach out to people all over the world. Like there's so much possibility out there. And I've been pretty bad at it before. And I think I've been shy for talking about it because sometimes I have big goals. And then when I talk about it, I kind of put pressure on myself. Like now I actually need to prove that I can reach it.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I think that's how it should be also.
Yeah. I mean, pressure's good.
Yeah.
Pressure's good, but it's I definitely can relate 120% in all aspects of of just telling people, and then also yeah, I mean, like I said, I'm an introvert. I mean, you would never believe that if I was at a networking event, I would network so hard, but I'm freaking out inside and I absolutely get so tired, um but believe in your big goals, and tell people your goals, and
Yeah.
then people can help you, someone
Yeah.
would be like, well, they'll bring up a question like, oh, okay, well, you want to be doing this every single day, you want to travel the world, you want to meet people, you want to do videos. Okay, I know somebody who's currently doing that. Do you want to follow with them and collaborate with them for like 2 months? It's just, you just never know. And then and then it's a great life learning lesson, because you're like, okay, maybe I could do this, maybe I could travel with someone for 2 months and see how that works, and see what I need to do and what I can do better. And but I agree, I appreciate you sharing that.
Yeah, and a lot of times you can like benefit from it both if you're collaborating. If you're working with someone that is like-minded, have the right mindset, maybe want to reach something similar. Or if it's someone that is doing something different, so that you can be like a complement to each other.
Yes.
I really believe that you can it's like 1 + 1 is 3. If you work together on something, you can create something really good if you both go in with the right attitude and the right mindset. So
agreed.
I think a lot of people underestimate like the power of collaborating. So
no, I mean, definitely when you're an artist, when you finally find who you are, definitely break free from the world. But don't break free from people, because people are your everything, So collaborating is everything, because that's how you build a family. That's how you build a family, I mean, when you're on set, when you're doing movies, people don't call random strangers. They call people they know, because when you're doing this business, it's exhausting. You get tired and you're constantly moving. So you don't have time for crazy people. You only want to work with amazing people who are constantly going to make you laugh and have fun while you're stressed out because it's raining. You're like, how are we going to get this shot? And then like right after this finished shot, it's like, I don't know. It's just things like that. So I agree, collaborating is important. Listen to that, guys. Collaborate, network with your friends.
Yeah, absolutely. If I hadn't collaborated and doing this live episode, I wouldn't have reached out to you, for example.
Yeah, that's very true. Yeah. I will have to say, thank you so much for posting that. When I saw that, this is actually a really good example of just me and my like own personal anxieties. Is that when I saw that, because I've been following you for a little bit, and I was like, oh, that's cool. That's cool. And I was like, well, why don't you just send a message? And I was like, I'm inadequate. I don't know. But you have to believe in yourself, and you have to, and I was like, okay, the worst he can say is, I don't think you're a good fit. And I'll be like, okay, whatever. So yeah, you know.
Yeah, I'm
So
glad you reached out. And you also, I haven't said this yet, but you're the first woman on the show.
what? Oh
So
my
that's
god.
that's something.
Yes. Yes. So you're hitting two marks:
Yeah,
diversity
exactly.
and a woman. Yes.
Yeah,
See,
yeah.
look at you
So that's
breaking
great.
ground. I love it. I'm so
Yeah.
proud of you. Yeah.
And also, it's kind of funny because I'm an introvert myself,
Yeah. Hmm.
and here I'm sitting doing live episodes.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's also fun to challenge yourself. That's when you learn the most, I think.
Agreed. It is. Hold on 1 second. Sorry, I'm just trying to fix my camera. Okay, there we go. Like only my head was being shot. Okay, now I feel
Mm.
better. That's the worst part about filmmakers. We're always looking at our shots.
Oh
We're
yeah,
like, am I am I
true.
framed right?
Yeah,
Yeah. No,
rule
but
of
I
thirds
agree.
and everything. Like,
Yes, right. um, but yeah, no, I agree. I agree. Yeah. And it just takes a lot of breath and a lot of patience for yourself because you have to be like, you can do this.
yeah,
You can show up.
yeah,
So yeah. And then you get there and you realize that everybody is just like you.
yeah.
Except for the directors and producers. Yeah. So yeah, that's it.
Um, yes, but there is actually what you just said. Everyone else is has the same challenges and things they are nervous about as well.
Hmm.
And I think like people always think a lot about themselves and think that like every people see every mistake that you do and they like doing those mistakes bigger than it has to be. But in the reality, like the people around you might not even notice that mistake because they are focusing on how they are doing. So
Yeah.
like I think I think humans in general are very like self-centric.
Yeah.
Uh,
You make
so
it sound really nice with your accent. Yeah. You make it sound nice.
yeah,
But here in LA, it's scary. Yeah.
yeah, but back to collaborating as we were talking about. That's also like it creates space for you to do those mistakes and to be yourself and being
Yeah.
comfortable. Because if
Yes.
you're are surrounded by people that also want to develop and challenge themselves, they will also make mistakes. And I mean, they will just be inspired by you pushing forward and trying new things, no
Yes.
matter what the end result is. Um,
Yes.
I think that's like a lot of time people focus more on the result than the actual effort and what they are putting in.
Yes.
I try to uh, I try to avoid looking at the result as much as I've done before, and more looking into okay, what do I want to learn? What
Yes.
hours do I want to like put in? What do I want to focus on? And then like the result will come after that.
Yes.
Um, so yeah, do you? Uh, let's see. I have need to look at my questions if there's anything that I have missed. Um, Yeah, you said that you were going through with the short film, like
Yes.
the third editing part.
Yes.
Is
We're
it
in the
what?
third editing stage. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So what's is like the different stages in editing for you?
Oh, you mean like the workflow?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So for this picture, because again, like I said, you have to back away from your own projects. You
Mm,
have to you have to give it away. So currently, we have an amazing colleague of mine, another female editor.
mm,
You should definitely interview her. She's amazing.
yeah.
Her name's Karina Munzos, and so she's currently editing our picture. But for me, so I actually wrote down my workflow because I was like, oh, because for me, I can just do
Yeah.
it blindly. I just know. I'm like, okay, And I was like, oh, that's a great question. But so there's like usually about like 11 steps, but the first step is to have consistency in your organization.
Yeah.
You need to label stuff and organize stuff the same way every time, so that it's never a surprise as to how or what files are where. So you always know, no matter what project you open 6 years from now, or 2 years from now, or 6 months ago, you can just open it and be like, I know where this is, and I know what date this is because you put it on the date, you know what version it is. And then always gather all your media and make sure, so say if you're not shooting it, if you have a client, they need to tell you everything about the footage, like everything, what it was shot on, if they changed anything, like say if they were doing slow-mo into the camera. Just make sure they're very, very clear, because um, it's very interesting when you transcode and you find problems.
Yeah.
So yeah. um, and then um, and then so like another great piece of advice that I always realized, but I automatically knew, but someone just reiterated that, is that do not edit the same day as you log your footage. And for those who don't know, logging is organizing your clips, like putting it in bins and viewing the clips and writing down notes, technical notes, and also artistic notes. Do not edit that same day, because at that time you're using your right brain, your right brain, which is like the organization and the structural process. um and you can't, when you go to edit, it's not going to be the same. So just focus on organizing footage, and hopefully you'll end up working on projects that take so long that you won't be even able to edit that day. It'll take you 1 or 2 days to at least organize all your footage. And then but then after that, I would say take a day off, and then the following day, then edit, because your mind is clear and it's ready for creativity. Um, and then what is it? And then I go through the process of, you make sure you picture lock, you do a couple meetings with your clients, and then after that you do your effects, your audio, and then after that's finished, your color, and then titling is always last, or at least for me. This is just my personal order. This, just to be clear with everyone, um, titling is always last because it's the easiest thing,
Yeah.
and you can do it while sleeping. You can be so burnt out and exhausted and be titling and everything.
Yeah.
Um, just make sure that you write everyone's name correctly. That's all you need to do,
Yeah.
and you'll be fine. Yeah, but that's the easiest part. Yeah, and then usually if you, I think that as an editor, whatever department you're in, um, for me, I'm a picture editor, so I do have to look at the sound and stuff. So, I mean, be nice and like at least have some clean sound. Make sure your tracks are labeled so that everything's good to go, so that everything is healthy, so
Mm.
that when you send this off to other editors, because you're not going to do all this all on your own, they can just open the project and be happy and just
Yeah.
know where everything is. They're not looking for stuff, because that's nasty. If you're looking for stuff, but that's, for me, that's how I structure my
Yeah.
workflow. Yeah.
And labeling is basically changing the color on the different elements in the video, right?
Everybody's different. No two editors have the same organization, but for me, I'm very OCD. I actually, so on the tracks, you can actually, so it depends on what program you're in.
Mm.
So I'll do Premiere Pro because everyone understands that, but
Yeah.
in Premiere Pro, you can label the actual side tracks, you know?
Oh, the
So you,
sidetrack.
yep. So
I
the
didn't
side
know
of the
that.
tracks, yeah, you can
Oh,
actually label them so that everyone knows what it is. And so, and the way it's supposed to be structured, so on the bottom it'll make more sense. So the first part should be your dialogue. Then the second part should be the um the sound effects. The third part is your ambience, like your whole like room tone and like the atmosphere or wherever they are. And then the final part is music. Music's always last because music is the actual last process in your movie. So it's going to be the final track. Yeah. But and then if you have more, and you'll always have more than one dialogue track, so you'll just do DX1, DX2, DX3. Everyone in the industry will know what that is, and music is MCX. Yeah. But that way, but I'm just over OCD because I just want to make sure that when I see something, I know exactly what it is. Yeah. But I also color code everything as well. So so yeah, so all my music's usually purple, the ambience orange, and the effects are green, and then the regular dialogue is blue. So yeah. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. See, I can tell you by heart.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So for me, for example, I am the only video editor at my work because it's basically like a web agency.
Okay.
So all of the time, when I'm editing stuff, I'm also the one that has filmed it. So
Yes. So
it,
you're the one-stop shop,
yeah,
creating the story, filming it, and then editing it.
yeah. So
Okay.
it was interesting to hear like your aspect from it with
Mhm.
actually making notes and make sure that you understand uh, the footage that you have gotten and how it has been uh, shot and everything.
Yeah, I mean, it helps. It really does help because at some point in your life when you pass 25, you realize you can't remember stuff anymore. Like I tell myself all the time, "Oh, I'm going to remember this. I won't forget this." You're going to forget. You're going to forget.
Yeah,
So, it's always good, like since you're shooting everything, you should have a script supervisor with you so they can take notes so that when you come back and you're like, what was I doing with this? Why did I shoot this?
yeah,
This has nothing to do with this, you know. But yeah, yeah. And then just make sure you take notes of like, even if you know it by heart, just make sure you have notes of
mm,
like what was the ingest footage. You know, what camera did you shoot it on? You know, I mean, you can even be crazy and do like what type of lens.
yeah.
Um, but that's only on bigger projects. But like, it's just good to have good practice
Mm.
because they're going to ask you that stuff later.
I can recommend that as well, even if
Yeah.
you're like shooting and editing for yourself. I've started recently to make a lot of notes of like what settings do I have in the camera, or if it's anything that I'm filming, like, oh, this could be good to edit in this way, or this particular thing I want to keep. Then I
Yeah.
try to put it all down in a notes document. Because also, if you're not editing right away, if it maybe takes 1 week or so, it's good to have that notes to go back to, so you have some
Yes.
kind of like base to follow and to build from.
Yes. Agreed. Yes. I definitely think that it's helpful.
Yeah,
Um, yeah, and just I always put stuff in a binder
yeah,
because yeah, because I used to have, well, I still have them. What am I talking about? I still have notepads and I
mm,
still write in them, but I will look at a notepad and I'm like, oh my god, which notepad did I write that note on?
yeah,
Where is it? And it takes 3 hours to find the notepad. So yeah, I'm like, oh my gosh. So yeah, just write everything in a binder.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I've actually, or do you mean write it in a binder inside the project?
No, so well you can do that too, but I'm old school. I'm a 90s baby. So I handwrite my notes as well cuz you read it, write it, say it, you'll remember it. allegedly. I don't know if that's true, but but I handwrite all my notes because sometimes if you need to walk away or
Mm.
sometimes if you need to do something, it's best. I always write a to-do list, you know? I was like, okay, first I need to do this, and then I need to move this clip, and then I need to fix this,
Mm.
flash frame and everything. And then I will write out a full like paragraph page sentence to myself. Um, but it's always like if you walk away from your project, always leave at a simple part. Like always leave like, oh, I gotta close this flash frame or whatever. Don't leave in the middle of like when you're trying to layer three videos on top of each other and you're trying to experiment
Yeah.
because it never works out. But yeah, so I do both. But I also say that when you when you export, you can export your EDL, which is your editor's list,
Hmm.
and it's a file and it just has all the notes as well as the files for the editor. Um I don't know like the technical way to explain it, but we could open Premiere Pro. No, I'm just kidding. we'll
So
be here. We'll be here all day if we open Premiere Pro. It's okay.
yeah,
That's not.
for sure.
Yeah, but but yeah, when it says export, you just do export EDL because it helps, and they'll probably editors usually ask for it. So yeah.
So what's actually happening when you export EDL?
Oh, so it just provides like a list of the notes and the changes. Um,
Mhm.
if I'm doing that correctly, I think so. Yeah, and then I think it still has no. It's just all the notes and the changes and the markers that you've made. So it's just another organized piece of information. Another great tool to give to the editor.
Mm.
So yeah, I mean, I asked for it, so yeah. It's just good. It's just good to cross your T's twice and dot your I's three times. So yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I
But
actually haven't heard about EDL before, so I need to look that up.
oh, okay, yeah, yeah, it's good. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
good. Yeah,
So
don't.
are you
Yeah, go ahead. What were you saying? Okay.
are you one of those that drag all the footage down to the timeline, or do you choose an outpoint first?
The controversial question.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. I thought this was a really going to be a healthy conversation. I didn't know we were going to be fighting. Oh my goodness. Okay.
Yeah. You have to take side now.
No, I mean, oh, no comment. No, I just, here's the thing. Here's the thing. Uh, it really is healthy that you really I mean my least favorite part of doing editing, which is the most hilarious part, is the beginning because you got to figure out what camera you're encoding. But I think it's so important because professional editors use Avid. So in Avid, you really need to know your codecs. You need to know your cameras. You need to know your ingestions and everything. You need to know what you're doing. I
Mm.
hate doing math, but this is the only math part you have to do.
Yeah.
And then you'll be fine. But I think it's important you do that,
Mm.
But I'm not perfect. Sometimes if someone's like, "Hey, can you cut this real quick?" Um, I might drag and drop. Somebody's gonna shoot me. I know it. They're gonna be like, "Don't say that. Don't drag and drop." But
I
but
actually
I'm not perfect.
know.
Yes, but I think it's so important. You have to know your codecs. If you don't know
Yeah.
your codecs, you will be screwed. You will. It will come back to bite you. It will. So yeah. Next controversial question.
Yeah. Uh, I could ask if you're using Premiere or Final Cut, but you already said Premiere, so
Yeah, so it honestly depends on the client, you know? So Avid, I do use Avid, but it is a heavy piece of software. So it's not something you should use on a laptop. It definitely needs its own computer. Avid is what we use in the industry. But every client's different. Some clients, they're like, oh, I just want you to edit at home. Like this is an at-home job. And then other clients are like, no, I'm supplying you with a suite. You're actually going to come into an office and there's an edit bay and we already have all the software for you, so we just need you to edit. So it really depends on what your client wants and where you're supposed to be. It doesn't, but I mean, there's no fear. There really is no fear because once you learn one editing software, you've learned them all. But familiarize yourself, familiarize yourself. And, when you know Avid, you get to bring the big kahunas home, the big dollars. So, yeah.
I think the best thing about Avid is that if you say it backwards, it's almost David.
Ah, that's so funny. Yes. You made it about you. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I like that. That's pretty cool. I never even thought of that. That's so funny.
I just thought of it right now, actually.
Oh, you did? Oh, that's hilarious. Okay, cool. I'm going to think about that. Yeah, that might be my pickup line for somebody. I don't know. Just editing nerd pickup lines.
Exactly. Is there any other software that you use, like Media Encoder or After Effects? Or
wow. So it's actually really funny. I have like a whole list of stuff that I use. It really depends on the project, but I mean, I still have Impact Streamclip. I have what is it? I have Handbrake. Um, I have Buzz, which is like a type of media player. Um, and then of course I use Media Encoder. Like I have all of the Adobe like software pieces in there. And then what is it? And then of course After Effects, and then you download plugins and everything, or you purchase plugins. Yeah. Yeah, but it really depends on what the customer wants and what they're looking for. I would say honesty is the best policy. So just let them know what you can provide. If they're looking for animation, I would send them to an animation person because I'm not an animation editor. So, or an animator of any sorts like that, because I don't know how to do rotoscoping or stuff like that. But yeah, it really depends on the software what they need and what they're looking for. But yeah, it could be endless. Yeah, I mean, I worked with Red cameras before, so I've worked in Red Giant a couple times. Yeah, I think that's what it's called, Red Giant, it's called Red Giant, Red Code or Red Giant for the Red cameras. So yeah, that was intense. Wow.
big heavy ones.
Yeah, 4K. Oh my God, I almost cried. Yeah, I think to backtrack a little bit from your previous question about challenges, I would really like our industry to keep up with, I think maybe pause a little bit on the cameras, because I feel like every 5 minutes they're making new cameras and making different cameras, and the footage is always heavier and worse. And then but then we don't even know how to process it. And I'm like, we can't even play 12K. Like, why are you making this? How about we focus for the next like 2 years on some really amazing computers that can handle that software. And then we can do that, And when I say handle, I mean actually handle it. I don't want my computer crying. I want it to actually manage it well, Because have you ever did that? Have you ever accidentally uploaded or ingested footage without transcoding it?
Or what do you mean by transcoding?
Oh, so that means to pretty much change it from one format to the next. So when you ingest your camera into your computer, it's raw footage, and so um, when you when you ingest your camera into your computer, that's the raw footage, and then when you transcode it, that means changing the format. So you do 1920 by 1080, all that stuff. But no, a funny story I had is I was working with 4K footage for the first time, and it was on Level One Productions. It was a picture that my business partner did called Superheroines, and it was 4K. It's so beautiful, but um, I had no idea. So I accidentally opened the wrong project file, and I had been working in the wrong project file. This is why you label stuff, people, because I was working in 4K footage. It was raw, and as a result, my computer, I broke the graphics card. I fried it. I was like, I went to Apple and I was like, "Oh, you can do that?" They're like, "Yeah, yeah, you can fry your graphics card. That'll be $300 now." I was like, "Ah."
4K footage, then.
Yeah. So yeah, so label and don't ever put raw footage into the software, and make sure you communicate with people. Be like, is this the right file? Yeah. Yeah, but that's what I did.
I actually remember right now that I recently was filming something that I handed over to a colleague that was going to edit without realizing it was actually shot in 4K. And I didn't have created like proxy files for it. So
Yeah.
like at the end of that editing part, I was like, oh, right, I shot that in 4K. Maybe I should have that.
That's funny. I'm amazed when somebody is able to edit in 4K and then like nothing happened to their software. I'm like, wow,
Yeah,
wow,
good for
Jesus
you.
must like you, cause yeah, right? Cause I'm like, wow, you're lucky. Cause
Yeah,
my computer was like, I hate you, I hate you.
yeah.
Just, I'm dying now. So yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I don't really use 4K that much. Like the only time when I do it is when I'm filming something without the zoom lens, just so that I could zoom in afterwards.
Yeah, yeah. I
So
think
that's it.
it's a beautiful piece of footage, but it doesn't need to be used every time.
Yeah.
I think that's the nerdiest part about filmmakers, or just about people, anyone who's into freelance content creation.
Mm.
Um yeah, they're just so excited about footage. They're like, "Oh my god, this is the newest and the best." So I have to try it. I'm
Yeah.
like, no, you don't. You don't. Why do you need 4K? Like,
Yeah.
where are you going? It's just like, where are you going with this? Like, you don't need the 4K footage. They're like, yes, I do. I need to shoot this in 4K. Like, your wedding video, as sentimental as it is, it does not need to be in 4K. Okay, just that's just a bit much, you know.
I think the problem is that a lot of people they think that 4K is 4 times better than HD, but they forget that
Ah!
4K it also costs 4 times more for all the hard drives.
It does, yeah,
So
yeah. I think that's a great way to explain like pricing. You know, it's just like
yeah,
you have to be realistic in regards to understanding like everything costs.
yeah,
Nothing's free. And if it is, ooh man, that's an
yeah.
IOU. Yeah.
Um, yeah, but I wanted to cover like one more thing before we end this, and
Yeah.
just to leave the like technical part for a while. But if someone that is watching right now or watching in the future that is like freelancing or just starting out in video and want to find customers and reach out to people. Do you have any advice there on how people could do that or how you have done it?
Yeah. So, like I said again, the biggest advice I had is like tell people who you are. Tell everyone. Don't be shy. Tell your friends, tell your family. And you just be surprised, like people will advocate for you and show up for you. But most importantly, um don't hide in a corner and be like, let me focus on this. Like while you are advancing your skills, still reach out to people and network with them. Something I did was like I would go on Craigslist. So that's like a site where I don't know if that makes sense, but like it's a site where like everybody goes to like post jobs and post like if they're like leaving furniture or stuff. And I would post up there and I would say, hey, because people are like, oh hey, I need someone to work on this film or whatever. So I would send them and say, hey, I'm an editor. Because no one thinks about the editor at all. They're just always thinking about let's shoot this movie, you know? So so I was like, hey, can I work on this project? I'm available. These are my hours. This is what I can charge you, or I'll just do it pro bono, Yeah. But build your reel. I think that's also important. Build your reel. So if you want to focus in narrative, scripted narrative, shoot some scripted narrative or acquire some scripted narrative pieces. Don't just like if you only have commercial work, then I'll believe you only know how to cut commercial work. If that makes sense, yeah. But I think the most important part of obtaining customers is knowing your value. Know your value, and this goes so important for both sides of the conversation, both men and women. I know it's so important that you should understand that you as a client need to be aware and be realistic. If you want the best of the best, then you will get the best at a cost. If you pay for cheap, doesn't mean you'll necessarily get cheap, but you won't get whatever you're looking for, if you want more. And more importantly, it's important that you sit down with yourself and you line up what you like in projects. So whether you've collaborated with people, whether you've worked in a project doing editing or some other sector of the creative world, write down the things that you actually like. Hold on. Write down the things that you actually like. You like clients that. Oop, hold on. I don't know what happened. I don't know. My picture disappeared, but it's okay. But write down the things that clients actually like. Write down, or that you like about clients. That you want someone who communicates with you. You want someone who will respect you and who will stick to a deadline. And then and you want people who keep their word, and then you want people who will connect you to the next person, because always remember this: if you whatever type of clients you work with are the clients that you will continue to bring in. It's the same in like being in a relationship with someone. If you date unhealthy partners, you'll continue to receive unhealthy partners until you make a transition, and you set the tone, and it's always good to be flexible. Like sometimes doing this pro bono or doing this discount for someone could be the thing that connects you to someone that will be paying you top dollar, and who'll be like a client that's yours forever. But don't sell yourself so short. Um, you know, Acknowledge that women are the driving force of video editors. They are the true driving force. The top directors in the industry have female editors. So know that they know what they're doing and they're worth the money. You know, if they say that a gig is going to cost $800, believe them. Do not compare them. Do not say, hey, well, this guy I know. And I'm like, okay, that's great. But, but I know that this is what is valuable. And this is how much it will cost. Because it's important, and this goes for clients, is that you have to understand that as freelancers, we pay 30% of tax, you know? Everything comes out of our pocket, you know? And so when we're charging you $800 for a gig, it's not just $800 because we're going to be swimming in Ferrari money. No, that's $800 for taxes. For me, it's also to tithe to my church, and it's also to pay for the software that I'm using, because you know everybody's trying to make money off of me. So the software has monthly charges. You know, everything costs. So just be aware that that's so important. And then also, you know, for me, what I've done is putting myself more out there, is going to making an Instagram account, and of course trying to be as active as much as on as possible, um, and making a website which you guys can visit, and then constantly telling people, and then every month or so, like when I have a dry season, where I'm not having a gig, or my gig is about to end, reach out to your contacts, and forward them like all of your resumes and information. Be like, hey guys, my gig is about to end in 2-3 months. Can you please reach out to me, and let me know if you know anything. Is there a project, or is there something that's going on that I can help out on, or that I can join or be a part of? But I mean, more than anything, is um, take a chance. I would say take a chance um, on everything that you do. You know, because you just never know where you'll be doing it. You know, I mean, 2 years ago, I was sitting in a customer service job answering telephones, and even though I still considered myself a video editor, the plan that I had originally was not working out. And I was like, okay, I need to go to LA. I'm in San Francisco still, and this is not working. So 2 years ago, I made that decision, and now I am doing a podcast. So with you. So it's just, you just never know. Take a chance, and believe in it. You know, if you see that you really like someone's content, be like, hey, can I collaborate with you? Can I work with you? um the worst that anyone can do is say no, and believe that you will get rejection when you put yourself out there, but it doesn't mean that you're not worth it. Okay, because eventually someone's going to say yes, and it only takes one time to say yes. So yeah, I hope I answered that correctly. Yeah.
I got a lot of good examples, I think.
Yeah. Okay.
So if I should summarize a little bit, tell people about what you're doing, what your goals are, what you're good at, build on your show reel, and actually use footage of stuff that you want to continue to do. Use Craigslist to trying to find a job that way.
Oh, you don't have to use Craigslist.
Or,
I was just saying what I did,
yeah,
but like, where if you're trying to start out somewhere, find
yeah,
find a website and stuff. You know, Staff Me Up, Anonymous Production Assistant. There's others, but I was just saying, like, if you're just starting,
yeah,
that's what I used to do. Sorry.
yeah, but it's
I'm not
good.
promoting Craigslist, guys.
Or sites that are similar to that.
Yeah.
Uh, and also one thing that was really good that you said, to write down what you actually appreciate about customers and what you're searching for, not just like, I want to work with these companies, but I want to work with people that either like are paying good, or are good at communicating, or we have a good connection, or they are always delivering on time, or stuff like that.
Yes.
So
I think it's important so you're happy, you know,
yeah,
because I mean, I've said it 1,000 times, but I'll say it again. Like, I mean, this job is, I mean, I would die doing editing. I will die doing editing, you
Mhm.
know? But you just don't want to do something where people make you miserable.
Yeah.
Like, where your clients are making you miserable and screaming at you. And you will have difficult clients. You will. You will have difficult clients. Um, but that doesn't dictate the future of the clientele that you have.
Yeah.
So just know that. Yeah.
And another advice that I have gotten that I think is really good is to, like, if you want to do a specific type of video, instead of reaching out to a company and asking if you can do that, if it's an event, for example, just go to the event and film that, and then deliver the video to them and say, hey, I did this video for you for free. And if you want to share it, feel free to do it. Or if you want to like order similar videos, this is what I can do. So then
Yeah.
really
I've
specific.
had that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That does work.
Yeah.
It does that does work. Yeah. Yeah. I agree. Yeah.
Yeah. So good. A lot of good advices. And
Yes.
I think I'm gonna end it here. Otherwise, it feels like we could sit here and talk for the rest of the night or the rest of the day for you.
Yes. Yes. It is. I mean, you be here all night. But yeah,
Yeah.
if there's something I would like to add at the end,
Hmm?
if that's okay.
Yeah. Feel free.
Yeah, something I just wanted to add. Um, this goes for men and women. I just think it's so important. This is for people who are hiring or people who are going into the room, that diversity is a very important thing. If you're working on content that's telling the story of a woman, or telling the story of a transgender person, or telling the story of a black person, you need to have those people in the room so they can tell the stories. You
Mm.
can't tell a story if you don't have experience in it. Um, and if you don't believe that, then you really need to reevaluate. It's so important that we have these people in the room. um, I'm currently up for a gig that possibly will be absolutely amazing to my career. But it's a documentary that tells the story of Black men, and
Mm.
it's so important that you have um, those people in the room to tell that story, because if you don't live it, if you can't understand it, then how will you know? You know,
Mm.
um, and just make sure that no matter how far in this industry you are, there's always room to grow. There's always room to grow. And and make sure you keep the door open. Don't close the door on people. Um,
Yeah.
so yeah, that's it. That's all I wanted to say, David.
That's
Thank
great.
you.
That's great last words in this
Yeah.
vlog episode.
Yeah. Thank you.
Sure. Yeah. So thank you so much for joining today.
Yeah.
Uh, it was really good. I think it was really interesting to listen to. Also, for me, I got a lot of different perspectives on the video editing role. So, yeah, very helpful.
Yes.
Uh, thanks everyone for watching as well. And
Bye.
we'll see
Thank
you
you.
soon. Yeah. Bye bye.